Before video, we use the method of occlusion. We build a lot of that customizable assets, and we put that into the AR environment. But say, let's look at the Pikachu. Okay, so before we the occlusion is sort of a standard augmented reality. The Pikachu look at this. So even though say you got your hand pretty yeah, close to the camera. So let me use my pen. Did I get my pen? Yeah, let me just use my screen brush to do that. Okay, so okay, so say for example, if you got your hand just before this Pikachu, it's supposed to cover the Pikachu, right? But if you are using standard augmented reality, you won't be able to do that. Okay, so your hand will still be behind this Pikachu, which is weird, and which make the augmented reality asset, however good you make this asset, however how many details that you put inside this texture, the asset will still be a lot of fake feelings to it. So what I'm going to do is to aiming for the effect like this. Okay, so in fact Pikachu is still there, but part of the Pikachu was covered by this by this man's leg. So yeah, so this give a sort of a illusion to your mind, and your mind will think, hey, that's Pikachu is just behind this man's leg. Okay, so you will you trick your mind to think that this Pikachu is real. So that is the ultimate goal of a sort of mixed reality that we are aiming for. To put the imaginary things, or maybe these things is not imaginary, but something real, and we want to project that into the real world. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, let's just do that. So let's just get rid of all that, close it, and remember we are using the help of Copilot. So I'm a great fan of artificial intelligence, and I believe that we programmer need to work with this technology to greatly increase the efficiency of our workflow. So I'm using Xcode, but Xcode can't use the help of Copilot. So I'm using Visual Studio Code to open the same file as the Visual Studio as Xcode, and so I can use the help of Copilot. And when I need to build it, to compile it, I go back to Xcode. Okay. So let's open a new file using Xcode. Create a new Xcode project, and iOS Augmented Reality. Yeah, perfect. And the name of that project, let me say, occlusion demo, something like that. Swift UI, Swift RealityKit. You do not include that because that's just a quick demo. AR tutorial, let's just create it. Okay. So after you wait a few seconds, you will have a file like this, and then what I'm going to do is to maximize it, and then go back to here, Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open it. I think it's desktop, VR tutorial, occlusion demo. Let's open this. So so I can open all this file and like to access the folder. Yes, okay. Trust. Okay, so I can actually make changes in file here. Do we like to open repository? Yes, always. Okay, so so I can write code here. Assets, experience, content, preview. I think mainly it's just a code here. Of course, you don't need the experience file right now, so this is just like a the editor. Okay, so like the virtual reality editor. We don't want that. I'm going to manually create it, so I can just move to, and let's edit the code a little bit. Let's just get rid of this side B. Canvas. We don't need that right now. Okay, so right now we got this struct AR view container, and yeah, before that, let me use coordinator to do that. So let me write a class. Yeah, I think I can just save it and go back to Visual Studio Code. This will give you a better experience of writing the code, because we are going to do that with the help of Copilot. Okay, so struct content view. Let me add a class, and name of the class will be coordinator. Yeah, and we don't need this object delegate all that. Just a coordinator will be fine. And then I'm going to say a var if AR view will be AR view optional, and our coordinator yeah, will be cancelable, so I can yeah, actually set that up later. So cancelable, and cancelable. Okay, and then I'm going to write this setup function. So yeah, right now let's just set up occlusion cancelable. Yeah, let's just use the code, and I'm going to edit that later on. Right now, let's look at the AR view container. This is the UI view representable. Yeah, make this AR view. We generate AR view, and yeah, but we don't set the context. We just use the box anchor try experience. Well, because we already deleted the experience, so this code will not work. So let's just delete it, and all that add box anchor thing anchor append. Yeah, we don't need that. So yeah, let's just manually add all that. Return AR view. So what I'm going to do is to add in the context. Okay, because I already got the coordinator, so I'm going to say context coordinator AR view. That's perfect. AR view. Yeah. So I set the context, and then I'm going to call this setup occlusion. Okay, call this function. So context, even though the inside view I haven't checked that yet, it's just automatically generated by the Copilot, but I will check that later. Okay, so dot coordinate setup occlusion. Yeah, so or automatic setup, and we are going to return this AR view, and then update UI. Yeah, update UI. I think we haven't make the coordinator. So I think, yeah, make coordinator. Yeah, that's perfect. Just automatic generate. That's the reason why I used Copilot. To really save me a lot of time, especially in Xcode. Sometimes you will not automatic prompt all these suggestions, and sometimes you will miss some part of it, and it's a great pain when you try to yeah, debug it. Okay. So let's dealing with the setup the occlusion. Yeah, the setup occlusion cancelable. Yeah, we don't need that yet. So let's do the step by step. Okay, so first let's unwrap this AR view. So I'm going to use guard. Okay, condition, and let's use guard. Let view AR view else return. Yeah, this is a pretty compacted way of writing. Of course, if you are not familiar with this way, you can just do it this way. Okay, but right now, let's just quickly unpack this. So yeah, let's just let that. So we got our AR view and occlusion mesh. Yeah, pretty good. So occlusion mesh resources. Yeah, generate box. This is a great way of doing it. But previously we used I think model entity to generate box. Okay, so let's use the old way and gradually introduce guys to new methods. Although this is a good way of doing things, you can try this out. Okay, so sometimes the Copilot can give me more ways of doing things. Okay, so let me just let a occlusion box, occlusion not mesh but occlusion box, and will be mesh resources. I'm going to use model entity to do that. So model entity, mesh, and generate box. And this is box is pretty big box, 0.5. Remember this is default meters, material, occlusion material. Yeah, let's change material because I just want a pretty normal box. So let's just entity and mesh, generate box, material. Yeah, let's use the normal material. Okay, so I really love this metallic feeling, so I'm going to use the simple material. Okay, so simple material, color black. Black is metallic false. I'm going to say it's true because metallic is a pretty good attribute for this material. Yeah, so we got a occlusion box generated, and then we can we can add in a collision, so we can actually control it. So we got the occlusion box here. We can I don't want to set it in a specific position, but rather I like to change that on the go. So I'm going to install gesture later on. Right now I like to actually can control it. So generate collision, shape, recursive, so sort of enclose that into a collision, and the physics body. I'm going to use a gesture in this area view. Remember, we just unpack this area view, install gesture all for occlusion box. So I can control for occlusion box means I want to control occlusion box using the gesture. Okay, so pretty standard stuff. I think it may got a pretty weird layout. So let me, that's more like it. Okay. So let's continue. I'm going to download a model. I'm going to download this guitar from Apple's Augmented Reality Quick Look, and to use it as the object that I want to abstract. Okay, so I've already downloaded that, and inside of here, click and drag. I rename it to guitar so I can reference that. Okay, and link console. But let's go back to here to write the code. So at the coordinator, we get AR view. We got the occlusion box. Right now, remember I'm using simple material, and we're going to use the occlusion material later on, so you guys can see the difference. Okay, right now let's just stick with simple material. That's material that I have used other times, and we get our views to install all the gestures, so I can actually control this box. So I can move it, to abstract thing. Okay, so let's generate model entity, because the model entity will return a cancelable. So remember, I got a cancelable at the beginning of it here. Cancel. Did I spell that correct? Cancelable. Yeah, cancelable. Okay, so I'm going to use that to hold the return. And I'm going to use the model entity to do that. So model entity, we can async to load things. So load model async. Yeah, that's pretty good. Toy robot vintage. This is not toy model. I'm using guitar. Sync and receive completion. Receive value. Let's change to another one to see whether the async toy sync, we see completion, sync recursive, and guard cell, we get a cell. We get a lot of suggestion here, but let's just choose one, and I'm going to change that later on. So model load async, and definitely the name will be guitar, because I just got guitar USDZ file here, so it's not a toy. Sync and in completion, let's just delete all that, because I want to demonstrate without occlusion and with the occlusion. So I'm going to think all that in a weak self, and then completion in, and we're going to consider the scenario if this is a failure and if it's not a failure. Okay, so here, if it's a failure, I'm going to let the failure error completion print this error. I think it's pretty good. Let me see whether they got another. Just got that. Okay, so failure error completion. I'm going to print localized description. Okay, I think it's pretty good. Just print that error out, and self. And remember, this is cancelable. If this got errors, I'm going to say that the cancelable will cancel. Okay, so cancelable will dot cancel. Okay, so just cancel that, and then I can just delete that, and I'm going to receive value, and I'm going to say the entity in anchor, and I'm going to add that entity here, and I remember we also need to add the occlusion box here right now, because the material is simple material, so just will not have a perfect occlusion effect, but I'm going to change the material as well. So add child and occlusion box. I think the tab is not as good as I think. So anchor, add child, and anchor. I'm going to add child occlusion box. So add box to the anchor, and remember I also got AR view, scene, add AR view dot theme dot. I'm going to add anchor and put our anchor here. Okay, so let's save it. Hopefully I'm going to build it. Alright guys, sorry about that. I think I just leave the anchor out, so you need to initialize the anchor first, and then in order to do that, you can build it. And in order to make this line of code work, you need to plug in your physical iPhone or iPad, because that's how this AR VR development works. So if you are not actually plugging the physical device, some code will give you some error, even though you are right completely. Correct code. So as you guys can see, we got a pretty big black cube here, right? and I can use gesture to make it smaller. Okay, make it bigger. I can even rotate it. It's pretty metallic. And what is interesting is that if there are two things at the same space, if I make it bigger, it would just completely cover this guitar. Okay, unless you enter into this cube, and you will maybe see something strange. But right now, I think it's already pretty good covering effect. Okay, so you can see that if I make it bigger, we just cover that. Okay, if I move it closer to me, just cover that. Okay, like you engulf this guitar. Okay, so that's the normal simple material, but what I'm trying to do is to show you guys these two different effects. Okay, so let me just let's just make a mental note of the fact of simple material right here, and then we're going to change the code. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is to change the material from simple material to occlusion material. So I think simple material, color black, and it's metallic. Yeah, pretty simple stuff, but what I'm trying to do is to change the simple material so you guys can see what's going on. Materials, and this time I'm going to use occlusion material. I think Copilot is so smart, it will just automatically fill that for me. And then let's go back to Xcode. I think it's right here. Okay, so we are there. So it's occlusion material. Okay, and then let's review that and test it out. Okay, here we go. We got this pretty beautiful guitar here, but as you guys can see, this is a lot of like transparent effect, and I think this is pretty good. So this is an invisible cube, and what I'm going to do is to move this cube. It's like an invisible guy moving around here. It's a pretty magical thing, and right now it's pretty small, so what I'm going to do is to make it bigger and cover part of the guitar, and I can move it backwards and forwards so you guys can see this occlusion effect. Okay, so this is a great way of, say you are going to build a tent, you want part of the tent got this sort of a see-through effect. Okay, so you just use this occlusion material so you can actually see through it. Okay, so instead of just make the guitar hidden inside the box, it make the part of the overlap become a sort of a magical material, and you can see through it. Okay, and of course I can rotate it. Okay, so I can rotate it, and I can just like cut it. Okay, so yeah, because it's sort of transparent, you can't see the actual cube, but yeah, you got the idea. You can even look from above and make it smaller. Okay, and then move it, and you can make part of the material invisible. Okay. Alright guys, I think that's it. We have set out what we are trying to achieve using the occlusion material to generate occlusion box, and to use that because we installed all the gestures, we can control this occlusion box. Then we can make part of the guitar invisible.